Hey guys, Dolly here. Welcome back to Gypsy Rose Papery. Today I'm super excited because I have a series of TNs for you, or they're actually a little bit wider than just your regular standard size TNs. They're more of a, I would say, standard wide, but you could also just use them as standalones. I tried to keep them nice and thin so that they wouldn't bulge out too much if you weren't planning to put them into a cover. But inspiration for these obviously came from spring and from the spring equinox that will be happening soon, and so there's a lot of spring correspondences in here, like a lot of air type animals like birds and butterflies and that sort of thing. Bunnies obviously, because they represent fertility and just overall spring loveliness. So I am going to probably go through one and then sort of fast forward through the other ones because they're all super similar. I would say probably like 98% similar. They all have kind of like the same type of ephemera and all that. And so at the end I will show you what they look like in just a standard cover and then a standard wide cover. Two of these have been reserved already, and this one for sure, and then this one here. So I'm just gonna put these to the side and then we can kind of go through these that are not reserved and that will be listed in my Etsy shop. So we'll start with her here. And I've named them all, so they all have a little charm, a little initial charm on the bottom there. And this one is Celine. And the reason I named them, I don't really name my journals female names, but because there's ladies on them, and because I figured it would be easier if you're going to the shop, if there was one in particular that you were interested in, you could just see the name and then you wouldn't have to kind of scroll through everything. So this one is Celine, and the covers are made out of really good quality cardstock, which I've doubled over. So it's a different cardstock on the inside. My usual messy sewing all the way around, and this beautiful sort of embroidered trim there, and then behind her is some vintage floral fabric, and then behind that is a little tuck spot, and so we have a little tag with a butterfly on it, and it kind of just sits there. So there's a nice deep front fabric pocket, again with that vintage floral fabric. And I get these from Tiny Home Treasures on Etsy, and I can link them below so that way you guys can go check her out because she's got really cool fabrics on there, you know, authentic vintage fabrics. So I put a little book plate in here. It's got a little girl with her owl friend and some fairy fabric that I've turned into a tag, and then the back, it's kind of iridescent. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but I used a file folder as a backing. It's a file folder where I did my stenciling and my spraying, for those of you that watched that video where I showed you how to cover the white backs on scrapbook paper. And if you haven't seen that one, I can link it at the end so that you guys can watch it, but it's really pretty iridescent color. And these are wildflower cards from Tsunami Rose, so these go there. And the first charm on all of them is a little moon, little quarter moon with a little face on there. And I think that only one of them doesn't have it because I ran out. I think one of them has like a little star. So here we have a really cute vintage photo. It's a digital by Amy Joy. And I did some trim there. And all the laces in here are dyed with Glimmer Mist. It's a really good way to dye your laces for those of you that have a lot of white lace. I know I do, and that way you can kind of just color match to the project that you're working on. I did some stenciling. Here's a vintage book page. I think it's like a plant book, a house plant book. Here we have two half pages that are tags, and the textiles that I used in here are from the Papered Soul, and I'll link her as well because I love her shop. This is some notebook paper that I've done some edge punching on there. This paper is from Dreamz Etc, and the backing is by Tsunami Rose. We have another charm here. And in this deep pocket, I have a little fabric scrap of that fairy fabric that I turned into just a little tag. Another wildflower card by Tsunami Rose. And then I decoupaged this spring type napkin with birds on it. And I backed it onto an index card. That fits very nice and snug in there. We have a charm on this side. All of the journals will include this vintage plant card. So they all have a different type of plant. And then on the back is just some information and then care instructions. So I thought this one went really well with Miss Celine. Just a little doily and some music paper. I did some light, very light script stamping. I really just wanted to give it a nice soft effect. This is some vintage stationery paper. It's got a monarch on it and it flips. And I did some border punching there. Another gorgeous image from Mrs. Cogs and a wildflower card. So the script stamping is a lot more noticeable on the paper, coffee paper, and I use like that plum color that I used for the stenciling just so that we can have some continuity. And here we have a little bunny image, so cute. And here is a vintage gentleman, which is a rare find in digitals, but it's there. And he's got a rainbow assortment of fairies dancing around him. And this gorgeous wildflower image. And this bag is from the Paper Toll. Some more glimmer mist dyed lace, and this is a big flip and a edge punch there, and I did some stenciling. A nice big pocket. And I think this one is the only one with these type of long pockets, I think. Here is a calendar page that I stenciled on the inside, and the middle is just some writing space. And the little charm has like a little lobster claw. So if you wanted to take it off here and kind of put it somewhere else, you totally could. And I forgot to say that some of the pages have some sewing detail. So in this one, I kind of made the vine kind of go behind the butterfly and then around her, which I thought was cute. Another deep pocket, wildflower card, and they have a total of 3 charms plus the moon one, so 4. Have a little deer and another pretty wildflower card, and then I used some of the scraps from that vintage floral fabric to make pockets or tuck spots. Oops. Have a tiny tag and some wildflowers. The majority of the ephemera I used here was wildflowers because I really just wanted to capture that sort of lace and paper flowers vibe. Like a Stevie Nicks vibe is kind of like what I was going for here. Here we have a nice big tag, little fairy mommy with her baby. Super cute. And flip out. Some lace, music paper, and if you remember her, I used her as a clue to show you guys kind of like what my next book was going to be, or next series of books, and so there she is. And another card, and on this one I think it's the only one that has like the mock Franken paper, because I used some scraps to make up the pockets. And again, we have some of that crinkle ribbon. I did some sewing detail around this book page, and now we have a big flip. And then they all are gonna have this little sort of drawstring bag in the back, and we have 2 fairy images and a little paper flower. and a wallflower card. And so that is Celine. And so they all have the 4 paperclip charms, but they're all pretty much set up the same. So I will sort of fast forward through the others, okay? So I'll put her to the side. Next we have Una, and same thing, it's a tag with the butterfly. So that was Una. This one is Willow, and same sort of setup. And so this one's Willow. I think this one is probably my favorite. I named her Rose because she reminds me of the Kate Winslet character in Titanic. She's kind of got like that sassy vibe, even though outside she's like, you know, very prim and proper. But her book, I was looking at it and it kind of looks like it's got this sort of monster face on it. So I was like, oh, she's reading a horror book, like automatically in my head. That's what came to mind. Don't mind me. I'm crazy. But she is super sassy. I love her. She's like literally my favorite. But anyway, I thought I'd slow down the video to tell you that. So that's Rose. This one is Tabitha. Love the paper on this one. so this is Tabitha. Next is Yasmin, and she is pretty. I love this paper. So this is Yasmin. And then the final two that I have, like I said, were reserved, but I'm thinking they'll probably want to see these. So just know that these two won't be available. So this one is Zelda. So that is Ms. Zelda. And this one is also reserved, and this one is Violet. Love this paper. I'm gonna keep saying that. I do love this paper. And so that one's Violet. And then I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in a standard cover and standard wide, because it was really made for standard wide, but I think it fits just shy of flush with the standard. So this is the standard, and so it's just shy of flush, so like maybe 1/4 of an inch, kind of like that. Still looks cute though. I think it looks so cute. Love it. And then here is a standard wide. And so as you can see, there's plenty of space left over. And if you wanted to add more into your cover, then it would eventually kind of be flush. but like this one, it's just shy, and if you added a second one of these in a standard, then it'd probably poke out a lot more. So yeah, that's what it looks like, guys. And let's bring our ladies back. And so these will be live on my Etsy. Hopefully by the time I put this video up, I can measure them for you. So they are 8 1/4 in length, and then width, they are about just 2/8 over 4 1/2. So a little bit closer to maybe 4 3/4. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these as much as I enjoyed making them, and I want to thank you so much. I love you. Bye.